So this is something that I find particularly interesting. I mean, when I look at Sony from the beginning of this year, I see a company that has somehow managed to gracefully maneuver through a room full of deadly traps. They always seem to come out slightly ahead of where I think they would. They came
Okay.
out on top of the Xbox One announcement
Oh
by
yeah,
so you know by
they
so
flipped it on them.
there's all these things. So anyways, we have the Vita. It's a nice console. It's not a necessary console. It's not doing great. So what they have is they are doing what I kind of expected them to do. They are trying to show the Vita as an integral part of the PlayStation 4. And the Vita TV is one way that they're doing this. And I think it's a rather clever idea. So basically for $100, not only do you get a Vita, now it's not portable, you hook it up to your TV, but this will play Vita games, it'll play PlayStation 1 games, and it will play any downloadable PSP games. So you have an entry-level console for about $100. With the way Sony is courting the indie game development scene, this could effectively put a nail in the coffin for the Ouya, especially in the light of Ouya's current controversy, which perhaps we'll touch on later. The other thing is they're using it as an extender, so that if you have a PlayStation 4 and it's hooked up to a TV and someone is watching TV on that TV and you have a Vita TV hooked up to a TV in another room, you can stream your game from that TV to the other TV so that you can multitask and use these multiple TVs. You have to keep in mind that an Apple TV is about $100. A Roku is slightly less. This gives you all those options plus a really solid game library that, while is not entirely current, is definitely better than a lot of
So,
the offerings.
so you're looking at this, and I look at it this way. It's just that this is purely for people that already have a PlayStation. It's not. They're not looking to branch outside and capture a new audience. They're not going to get it, I don't think, because at the end of the day, there's so many media streaming, units out there. They've been out. They've really been out for about 5 years now. They started coming out about 2009 CES. In my CES video, 2009. Was it 2009, 2010? That's when like the Boxy Box, D-Links, Boxy, they were all coming out. A lot of them never.
Sing.
Not a lot of them ever really caught on. I thought the Boxy was going to blow up. I thought that was going to be the next big thing, and it just never caught on. Some people just either they didn't get it or weren't interested. But with this, you're right. It's smart. Is it going to be a huge thing? I don't know. I don't know if the streaming thing is going to be big. I don't know how that technology is going to work in terms of that latency. I don't know. I mean, basically, they're basically doing what the Wii U's doing, except on the tablet, you're going to be able to put on another TV.
Yeah, but if people want to play Vita games, and granted there's not a ton of those yet, but there are some good ones, instead of paying $200 for a unit, you can pay $100 and play them on your TV. I realize that they say that you're going to lose the touch. Not all of these games use the touch, and if they integrate the DualShock 4 controller, you effectively get touch back via the controller. The way I look at it, and I'll leave it at this, is if you have a PS4, the thing becomes incredibly useful.
Sure.
If you don't, but you are still looking for a Netflix box, this costs as much as the next best option, which would be the Apple TV, but gives you a game library that is far more robust.
This is interesting. I don't know if Sony. I don't think people realize it. A lot of the newer TVs have this stuff built into it now. They have the media stuff built in. I think Sony has their own like streaming. I'm thinking of Blip. When you like publish a video on Blip, you have all the different services you can go to. You can go to Roku, you can go to Sony's or Philips service. A lot of them have it already. This is to me a way to just get more money out of your pocket. It's like they're just another accessory that's going to cost them $20 to produce. They'll sell it for $100, and people will probably buy because like, hey, I can get this, and it's still going to be cheaper than an Xbox One. Getting the PS4 and this.
I could also. I just said that this is my last comment, so I lied. I also, but I mean, I do look at this as a cheap. For kids, it is a cheaper console. I mean, if you, it's just with this, you can look at it from so many different perspectives.
I don't see it as a standalone though. I don't. I see it as an accessory.
I do for a certain market, and that market is for kids who want a console that will play games that their friends are talking about that is not nearly as expensive. It's $100.
But if they think they're going to tap into the Nintendo's handheld market, I don't think they are.
No, they're not. And I would never say that. Like I said in the last podcast, I have both. And if you were to ask me today which handheld you should go with, that answer would be a resounding 3DS. There's no reason for a Vita to be your only handheld system.
Sure.
But no, I mean, I do think it's a cool idea. I think it's a good move on their part. and I will concede to you a little bit. It's going to be better if you're already buying into the. Oh God, am I going to say this? The Sony family of products.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Right.
It's the Sony family of products. It's like to me, it's almost the same thing as their stupid proprietary memory sticks that cost twice as much. It's the same. They just want to milk you for more money. The Vita is a failed handheld. And this is the way to sell their software by introducing it, and it's actually brilliant because otherwise no one would give a shit about it.
Right, but this is the thing: it's going to breathe new life into Vita development, and with the recent announcement of the Vita 2000, the price drop on the Vita TV, the fact that they want to make the Vita basically the Wii U tablet controller for the PS4, by making it everything but a portable video game system, they are cleverly making the Vita relevant. And I find that kind of cool.